In this video, we will continue to see how we can create some clothes in Blender using digital sculpting and also simulation. In the previous video, we used the first simulating tools, cloth simulation tools or cloth simulating tools, and we created different versions of this t-shirt. So starting from something really tight and then starting to lose a little bit the garment around the character. And we use mainly the pose tool with the cloud simulation and the cloud rush. And we, again, experimented. So what I usually do is create a lot of copies, experiment, and then see which one fits the best for the character. Starting from the first one, which is the simple extraction, which is going to give a tight apparel on our subject. Consider I created a shirt and then a t-shirt. So it's pretty easy, like a method, like let's say the first technique I would probably use to create apparel is just to paint with the face set or with the mask and then extract. Now with the face set, we also have the advantage to have clean and neat borders or let's say seams around. But the face sets also, they leave these let's call these scars. So we can just hold the shift key and smooth those scars out. So when you finish to create your apparel, you need to go back to your original character and then smooth out those little holes, or well, they're not actually holes, they're just like stretching polygons. So you just need to go here and deselect face sets and topology in the automatic section of the smooth. Otherwise, it will not smooth because it will recognize the gap between one face set and the other. So you continue and smooth all those parts that have been damaged in the process of the extraction of the apparel. This sounds a little bit difficult, but it's not. It's really a simple operation that you can do real quick. Just remember, anytime you use the shift key with the face sets to smooth out that line, that separation line, just you need to remember that the original mesh is going to be affected by that, so you need to go back and fix it. That's it. So you can see also here around the leaves on the arms, I need to smooth there on that part, little by little, and that's it. So once you do that, you can start all over creating face sets, creating other additional elements to your main character. So as we also said before, you either add other elements. You can see here I have added a plane using add mesh, and then you create an additional element around the main character, or you sculpt directly on the character. But I usually prefer the first option. I prefer to create more elements and then decide later which one I want to keep, which one I want to merge, and so on. So you can see right now I switched to edit mode. I increased the size of the plane, and then I'm increasing the subdivision by right-clicking and clicking subdividing. So this will help me to create a garment, another fabric that I want to use to do a simulation. So this is another technique that we can use to create clothing, and to start that we can continue also with the sculpting. So you can see I've copied the body, so which means the main character there, Control C, Control V, and I want to do a low poly version of this character, because when you use simulation, you don't need too many polygons, too many faces. So I want to decimate using the modifier decimate, and you can see the face count there will drop. And this is, again, really useful because you cannot run fluid simulations with a lot of polygons. You need to start with few polygons as always, and then you increase the level of quality at will, at necessity. If you don't care about having too many polygons, you don't need to increase the number of polygons and subdivision. You can see here I'm dropping down the ratio to 0.02 so that I have a really low poly. This is still giving me a lot of details. So I want to drop this down to 60,000. And now you can see that it looks pretty similar to the original. So we didn't lose too many details, but now we have a much smaller count So I can use this for a collision. So I will use this body here, go to the physics forces, and then add collision. And you can adjust the inner here and the thickness so that it gets closer to the body. Now the body is a collision element, and this one here is a cloth. So you need to add the cloth modifier and just run the simulation. Don't worry about the parameters. We're gonna see those later, what they mean and what you can do with that. So let's just run the simulation. So hit the spacebar, and there you go. So all you need to do to have this is to add a cloth modifier or cloth physics force to the plane and the collision physics force to the body. All you need to do is this, and then when you want, you can go back here and adjust things in the garment in the plane. So you can also run the bake of the simulation from this panel, and if you scroll down, you have other parameters here for the quality of the simulation. So you can, here in the collision tab, increase the quality of the simulation. Also here you can fix the distance from the objects and make sure it's not too high, and also you make sure you want to activate the self collision, which is going to make things more accurate. And then you have friction, distance, and other parameters again that you can use to make things more, well, closer to what you want. You can see the simulation starts to 1 and ends to 250. You can also decrease that. I decrease it to 100. And then you have stiffness, dumping. All those will define the way your cloth will behave, your fabric will behave. So if it's a cotton, or if it's leather, or if it's other types, linen and silk and so on. Now you can also increase the quality steps of the simulation to something really high like 10, or something in between like 5. And when you're ready, you can just run the simulation. Now I also gonna add here some more subdivisions. So I'm gonna add a subdivision modifier to the plane, and let's make it 2 instead of the simple one. And you can see we also have now some nice rounded corners for our garment. And let's press play again, or spacebar, or you can bake the simulation. I will move the subdivision up on the cloth, so it first gonna subdivide and then it's gonna run the cloth simulation. And you can see now it's going much slower. First, because we have more polygons. Second, because we have also more steps in the simulation. But you will see that this is going to be way more accurate than the first one. So depending on the power also of your computer, depending on what you're looking for, if you're looking for more folds, more really details on your garment, you may want to increase the subdivisions as usual, and you want to also increase the simulation steps. If you're looking for something more well, faster and simpler, then you may want to decrease the number of polygons and decrease the steps. And you can see it's creating kind of a hood around the head of our character, which looks really nice. Could be used for a mantle or a cloak. Well, in that case, you need like a bigger plane, but this is just to show you how it works. Then you can make your own experiments. Now you can see how beautifully it's going to be placed on your character. It's going to create tensions in the garment, it's going to create folds, it's going to create parts where the piece of fabric is going to be pushed by the muscles of the body, and other parts where they're going to be pulled. Now, if you right click and do shade smooth, we can see this even better. We're going to see everything nice and smooth instead of seeing with the faces, the flat shading. So it looks really nice, really realistic. And then you can work on this. This is the most important part. You can choose a particular time where you think the simulation is really good, like for example this one here, or maybe there is too they're too close together, so I'm gonna move them. There you go. So I like this particular frame of the simulation. So if I want to use this to create now sculpting and other simulation, I will right click and convert this into a mesh, and this is